Yeah.
You hear this, motherfucker? You piece of shit, Damon. You little bitch. Say those things. Don't come closer to me.
Damon, stay there. Don't come closer to me.
All right. How long have we been talking for?
Probably
like 45 minutes.
Yeah, about 45 minutes.
All right. Well, we're recording now. Welcome to the Sequel Podcast. I'm at Bonta.
Paul Sifre.
So we just recorded a podcast but didn't.
Yeah.
So
45 minutes worth of gold that everybody missed out on.
Yes, Paul dropped all the bombs that everyone's been waiting to hear.
Yeah. All the
named
secrets are
names.
out. I named names.
He named names.
And now you guys will never know.
Yeah,
Maybe for a small fee.
I dropped all the, the gossip everyone wanted to hear about.
Yeah, all the future
secrets.
Projects.
Yeah, we went over that podcast that Damon was on that we scrubbed the internet for.
Yes.
And, we told the truth. The truth was told on that podcast.
Yes.
But,
we did video reenactment to it also.
But because I forgot to hit record, it doesn't exist. So, we talked about the movie.
That's good. No evidence.
Man. Fucking son of a bitch. I'm so fucking pissed off. That's okay. I probably sounded like a tool.
No, it was all gold. It was all Academy Award-winning stuff that we were talking about.
Yeah, but we shot our wad fucking talking on that podcast.
Yeah, but now we'll seem really prepared because we're not going
over that shit again. Well, just for the people, we talked about Not in the Dark. We talked about Midnight Bloodshed. Some good things were said about Caden.
Yeah.
Caden was a rock star in Midnight Bloodshed.
Yeah.
Oh man, I asked you about the procedure with the firemen and ambulance and everything. It's gone. Yes. All right, well we can talk about G.I. Joes, I guess.
We've
been meaning to talk about G.I. Joes.
All right,
let's talk about the new project. So Unto the Breach, it's a script I wrote.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a movie that takes place on a sea lab underwater and involves intricate sets and effects. So we never got to make that movie. So now what I'm going to do is, because I've been taking pictures of my action figures and posting those, I decided I can make storyboards with these pictures. So now I'm going to get all the actors to record the lines, and I'm going to try to create a proof of concept for any potential investors. Maybe do a Kickstarter or something down the line. But that's going to be the project I do this year. And maybe next year. Did you read that script I sent you?
No.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah. No, have not read that.
And no one's read that fucking script, and I want to know what people think.
Well, you sent it to me when I was dying.
Oh, that's right. You've been sick. I forgot. What were you sick from? What happened?
I just overdid it in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a week off from the gym and my diet before I went to Mexico. Then I was in Mexico for 2 weeks. And you know me, I don't half-ass anything. So I either go all out or I don't do it at all. And I was drinking from about 8 a.m. every day till 5 a.m. every day.
You gave yourself alcohol poisoning?
And and then the very last day, I just felt like my body was kind of broken down.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I came out here with the weather change, because it was all nice there, and then I come back and it's fucking snowing. Then I end up getting a sinus infection. Sinus infection, actually. Sinus infection. Yeah.
Well, I meant you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm like Superman. Didn't even need a plane.
I don't know. It's scary to get onto a plane. Flying from here to Vegas or LA or something, it's an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But taking a flight across country where you're on this tin can for 10 hours and you hear people coughing and it's there's no fresh air in there.
Yeah.
That shit's going to circulate as people get up and move around, go to the bathroom back and forth. The flight attendants are bringing carts in and people are still coughing and breathing. That shit mixes in there. So that's what I mean by it's kind of scary. You don't know. You're just breathing in 100 people.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually get sick maybe once every 4 years. I don't usually get sick. As a matter of fact, I've already went through 3 primary doctors. without
They've all
visiting
died,
any of
or
them.
they've outlived them.
They've all either got fired or switched from renown, but I haven't even got to see any of them. So
Oh, okay, I see where you're going.
yeah,
with this.
like so they'll email me or they'll send me a letter saying, "Hey, your doctor has left. You need to come up with a new primary." So I'm like, "Okay, well, make this other person my primary." But then I don't go see them. So
And
then
they
that person
find a
ends up
job
leaving. I'm
by
like,
then.
Jesus Christ. So but yeah, so I took a beating. And I came back and it took a good 2.5 weeks to just get better. So
Well, now you gotta read that script. No one
I
ever
know.
reads these scripts. Like I fucking like put my blood, sweat, and tears on the page, and I'm like, "Hey, man, read this. I'm super excited to hear what you have to say."
if it was like a stomach flu, I would have read it while I was in the bathroom. But
Like I gave Greg a script and he didn't read it. I'm not trying to make you feel guilty or anything like that. But
okay,
like,
good.
like I do. Like you have no idea how hard it is to write a script.
Yeah.
Right, and you know, and someone else might say it's super easy, but like when you're motivated, right, and you're sitting there and it's like, oh hell yeah, and you're just typing away, like yeah, it's easy and it's fun, but then it's like really hard sometimes once you step away from writing to get back into it, and trying to get 90 pages out fucking sucks.
And I really wanted to give it my attention because you were asking about taking a look at the procedures and stuff like that.
Yes,
So
which
I
could
want
ultimately.
I want to definitely take my time and go through it.
Okay,
and
we
make
can talk
notes.
about that right now.
Yeah.
Let's finish up on the other thing. I've already switched gears.
Yeah.
So onto the breach. So I'm gonna do those storyboards with photos of the GI Joes. I'm gonna build mini sets, and try and put some shit together because, it's such a good script.
For those that don't know, this script is one of the best things I've read, and
everyone said it's the best
yeah.
thing I've written too.
Yeah, and yeah, that's what I was saying. I let somebody who's extremely critical of past scripts and stuff read this, and that person was like, "This is
There's only a couple of fucks in this script.
this script is really fucking good.
Every other word isn't fuck, and,
Yeah.
and you know, like the dialogue is snappy, and like or rereading it, I was like, did I really write this?
Yeah, it's really well written, well thought out script, and it definitely shows, and it's definitely something that has some phenomenal potential with the right budget and the right people.
And hopefully maybe we can get that one day.
Yeah.
And we can spend like 3 months making it.
Yeah.
You know, a month to build the sets and get the costumes, get everyone rehearsed and ready, a month to film it, and then a month for post-production, whether or not we need to do some reshoots, make sure everything looks good. And get paid. Like, it'd be nice to get paid. I know some people... I know you expected to get paid, Paul.
Oh, yes. Yes.
On Midnight Bloodshed. I've heard... I have it on good authority that you expected to get paid for Midnight Bloodshed.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to apologize here and now to you.
I had my people reach out to your people, and they reviewed the contracts that we went over, and you didn't.
Funny thing is, my
your
people,
end.
that was a fake number I gave, so I don't know who they talked to.
It was myself. Yeah, no, I didn't expect anybody. I did not expect any money. I do it because it's fun, and you're a buddy, so it was a good time.
But yeah, like that movie needs money. Under the Breach needs money.
Yeah, it needs a budget. It needs some sets. It needs people that are going to take the script seriously because it definitely has potential to be, in my opinion, a major award winner.
A good. Well, I don't know about that. It's not get crazy. It's a genre picture. No one likes genre pictures, even though Everything Everywhere All at Once just won like Best Picture, and that's definitely a genre movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that good. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I think the script is. I think if you get the right actors and you get the right sets and stuff,
I mean,
it definitely can be.
And the concentration it needs.
Yeah.
Right? Because Midnight Bloodshed was like every weekend for 5 months instead of like every day for 1 month.
Right.
You know, and everyone's still in the same mindset, right?
Yeah.
Like, it would be focused. We need focus on this. The Midnight Bloodshed didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've got all you guys, all the actors coming in to record lines, and that's what the next thing is for this year. I guess we can talk about G.I. Joe later.
Are you going to post the your setups that you're doing with the lines on your site?
Yeah, well, and who knows how long that's going to take,
right?
Because we still need to build the sets. But I'll set up the figures and I'll use the camera. Probably not even do still photos, but the figures will be still.
Right.
Right. And if I can move them in a way that doesn't look cheesy and stupid, I plan on editing that into a whole movie, and then I'll post it for sure. But yeah, that's this year's project. And at the beginning of the year, I started to re-edit an older movie of mine, Street Meets Pavement, which I made 10 years ago. Me and Greg and Patrick Rigelsberger, who his dad.
Yes.
And I was just going through all that stuff and being like, man, we had a great time making that movie. We were young, no one gave a fuck. We had nothing better to do. We just fucking made a movie, and it was a blast. We had a great time making that movie. Midnight Bloodshed was not the same experience that movie was. And of course, Midnight Bloodshed, a lot of late nights. Right?
Yeah.
We had to wait for the sun to go down during the summer. But Street Meets Pavement, we'd finish for the day, and then we'd go out, maybe get something to eat, go to a bar, we'd hang out, right? Multiple times.
Yeah.
Midnight Bloodshed, no one hung out.
But I think also too, was it a smaller cast that you had on that first one?
It was, and we were all an intimate cast. We were all friends prior to, right?
Yeah.
And we're let's keep the good times rolling. We're done filming for the day.
So what, you had 30 people for Midnight Bloodshed?
Oh yeah, 30 people, a small child.
Yeah.
And we were up fucking in the Frenchman Lake in the woods.
Yeah. Till 1 in the morning. Yeah.
So
and it was crappy weather, and
driving back was not oh, let's go, to a bar.
Yeah.
45 minutes later after driving back.
Yeah. It was fun though. After the premiere.
The premiere was very much the experience that we used to have.
I basically just told people though.
No, you did.
I didn't give people an option.
People wanted to though. So that was the thing, and Damon was there with his cousin, right? And he was saying I need to go pick up my other cousin. And you were like, what's the situation here?
Yeah.
Can we go out to eat or what?
Yes. Let's get this going. Let's do it. Let's go. It was fun.
It was a lot of fun. But we did that every other week when we were filming, depending upon timing. Street Meets Pavement was a lot of day stuff though. Midnight Bloodshed was mostly one time they went out to go bowling and shit like that. I don't want to get into that story though. We talked about on the podcast that I didn't hit record for.
Yeah.
We went
that was
details.
The bowling, and then after apartment party.
Yeah, so they all went bowling and hung out, all these young kids. They all went bowling. They went out, hung out, and they're well, let's go hang out at Damon's place. And they all went and hung out at Damon's place, right? So they all, I really liked that, that they went out. They all just met each other basically,
right.
And they all hung out, and that was cool. So I thought that was great, and we used to do that. Street Meets Pavement and Godsaw, we did that. Not in the Dark was another one where it was all night stuff up in the woods. But yeah, we used to do that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck?
Fucking, that's the second
amateur
time.
over here.
No, I think
you've got the short cord.
That's probably I got the short stick of this. No, but I think that has a lot to do with it too, because I'm used to working nights. I don't get tired, but there were some long days that we had, and at the end of the day, I'm like, fuck, I just want to have a glass of whiskey, jump in my hot tub, and then go to bed.
What was your longest day? What was your most exhaustive day?
Not
including the wood stuff. So okay. I guess just.
I was gonna say the one where we kind of went back and forth, because we filmed at the gas station, then we went down to the lake.
Oh yeah. No, that was a busy
We started
day.
In day, and then we didn't end until 1 in the morning.
And that was because Steve drove up from.
Yes, and we were trying to get
California.
Yeah.
Yeah, he drove up from California. So
and I like that guy. I like him.
So let's get as much of his stuff so he doesn't have to come back. He came back. He came twice. Actually, came 3 times. He came up for the read through that we did.
Yeah.
And then he came up for his first day of filming, and then he shaved for me, unlike
Yes,
some
he
people
did.
I know.
He did. He's a team player, unlike other people. Whoever that other person is, probably an asshole.
So yeah, no, we were at the gas station. Oh god, we had long drives for this.
Yeah.
And you come in from Spanish Springs.
Yeah.
To
Because even today, there's no rush hour traffic. It shows that you're 8.5 miles away from me, and it's going to take 38 minutes to get here. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I mean, that's just the town we're living in now.
So we were up Carson Valley. Washoe Valley. Carson Valley.
I think it was Washoe Valley.
On the way up to Carson.
Yeah.
Like right before going to Carson for the gas station, and then back out here. Did we only do... It was just there and then up to the woods.
No,
right?
we came here too.
We came here to meet, but we didn't film here. No, we came here and then we went to Corey's to pick up like props.
Yeah. It was a lot of car time.
A lot of car time. That was an exhaustive day.
Yeah.
And then you did do one day where we spent all the time at the gas station. That wasn't as bad as the one before that with the other crew.
I think the time too when we were doing the tunnel stuff.
That was
a long one too.
That was an hour drive, right? At least an hour drive. Probably like an hour and a half to your place. Yeah. Because Damon came and picked you up.
Fucking cold. It got cold, and then swinging around that fucking sledgehammer. I was exhausted. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Well, I mean, because you work out.
That was a midnight. That was a midnight shoot, right? So home by 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. I had muscles that I didn't know I had. Fucking sore.
That's old age.
Yeah, it could be. You wake up, you stub your toe, and you're in a cast for a week. Oh, I'm dead. I'm dying. Where's my medical alert bracelet?
All right, so I wrote. Okay, so Street Meets Pavement. What I was talking about.
Yes.
Re-editing that movie, I was like, man, I miss doing, because we used to do like before your time. This character Cheese that Patrick, Fred's son. He played the shitty cop that snorted coke, fucked off, and we used to do just strictly his character. We would just write these movies for Cheese, the character Cheese, the shitty cop. So we made Street Meets Pavement, and then we did Godsalt, and I was just like, man, I miss hanging out with that crew, having that tight crew. So I wrote this new movie with those characters, and I know that Patrick, I haven't talked to Patrick in so long, and I don't know if he even wants to talk to me anymore. But I was like, I gotta write this movie. I want to do this movie. So I wrote that movie, and that's what it is that I gave you to read. And you're like the captain in that. Is that a proper title for the guy that's in charge of the cops?
Is it law enforcement or?
I mean, they're detectives.
Okay. So I got typecasted.
I tried to make it as good a role as possible, but really it's for the characters that we played back in the day.
Yeah.
And that's what the movie is for, but I fit you in there as the captain, right? So would it be the captain?
It's just for different agencies, different things. Like Washoe County will have a captain where Reno PD won't. Mm-hmm. So
well, that's
Reno PD will have a commander.
Reno is in Washoe County.
Yes. So Washoe County Sheriff's Office will have, it'll go sergeant, lieutenant, captain, then under sheriff. Yeah. Well, officers or deputies are at the bottom.
Sure.
And
as far as ranked officer titles go, sergeant's at the bottom.
Sergeant's like the last. Sergeant's like the line between management and the street. So, and sergeants are usually the people that they're the most street smart out of management.
Okay.
Because lieutenants, commanders, captains, chiefs, undersheriffs,
they're all desk jockeys.
They're all desk people, and they lose touch with what's
going on the street
happens on the street. The sergeants are the ones that are on the street, and they're supervising their guys on the street. So if you're wanting somebody that's very street knowledgeable, sergeants are usually the best for that. And the higher up you go, the more political it gets.
So Captain works then for your character who's like commanding these detectives
Yeah.
and telling them like.
Yeah.
So the movie's about there's a serial killer that's killing hookers, right? And the captain's like, "You fucks gotta fucking get out there and fucking find the serial killer," right? So that's a captain would do that.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all made up.
Captain, I mean, so, and you'll have, so it'd be like like I said, equivalent to kind of like a commander at Reno, to where you have a commander that's in charge of detective section.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody that does detectives works under that commander. They're the
Now,
highest one.
Commander isn't an official title,
It's the official title for Reno.
but you wouldn't be like Commander Sifre.
Yeah.
You would.
Yeah.
Okay, it just sounds weird. It doesn't really
I
flow
know.
off the tongue very
I know.
well.
It's something that they made up, Reno made up, to get extra positions.
Okay.
Because the city was not giving us people. So they're like, we got to think of a way to get more people. So let's come up with this
Okay.
position. So that way we can get a couple more people. But yeah, it'd be like a commander's in charge of like a detective division.
Okay, well, so here, for example, what I'm thinking, the way it plays out in the script is like, you ever see The Departed?
Yes. Yes.
So like Martin Sheen's character, and then he's got Mark Wahlberg with him. So you would be like the Martin Sheen character, and then you also have an underling who would be like the Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, so Mark Wahlberg would be like the sergeant
Mm-hmm.
of the unit. Martin Sheen's character would be like a lieutenant or a captain.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay. So that's what we're going for.
yeah.
But there was a scene that I wrote in it that's based on this other scene from like a TV show that I saw. But what happens is, so check this out. So here's the scenario, and you tell me how this would play out.
Okay.
So in my script, plot wise, I have a certain character that goes to the scene. So what happens is the dude, let's say there's shots fired, right?
Okay.
Don't know what the situation is. Shots are fired in the house. Maybe someone hears screaming. Someone calls the cops. And my detective, who is closest to the situation, goes. So, like, let's say it's like a senator, right? It's at his house.
Mm-hmm.
And he's killed someone, right? And there are kids on the scene in the house, his kids, but he's got a gun and he seems like unstable. So let's say someone calls 911 because they heard shots fired at this house, a prominent member of the society's home, right? So how would that play out if someone, like a neighbor, called 911?
So, for the most part, it'd be patrol officers are going. Majority of the time, detectives don't go until everything is safe.
Right, and you've told me that
Yeah.
before.
However, if it's an active shooter situation or something like that,
Yep.
and the detective's right down the street,
Yep.
then the detective should take that initiative because they're still a cop. Most detectives, I hate to say it, they go to do detective work so they don't have to be involved in the
Right.
shit. But so they would be the first responder. Now, if they showed up and it wasn't an active shooter situation, they'd basically be setting up the perimeter and getting as much information as they
So
can.
the detective would not go in the house.
Not unless it's an active shooter situation to where they can hear in shots or...
Okay, check this out. All right.
Okay.
So the neighbor calls 911.
Mm-hmm.
Our detective is the closest there.
Mm-hmm.
Other cops are too far away to get there on time. Detective shows up. Let's say the neighbor comes in. It's like, I heard gunfire. I heard a scream. But it's been quiet. Like, all the lights are off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't really tell what's going on in there. Would the detective then enter in to try and figure out the situation is?
No. Nope. They would stand by and wait.
Well, what if they heard a gunshot go off?
Then they would.
Then they would.
Yeah, depending on the situation. So if the neighbor said, there's kids in there, and
Okay,
worried
so-
about the kids' safety,
Yeah.
and then you hear a gunshot, the detective would, depending on the detective,
Sure.
but the detective would be like, hey, there's active gunfire and there's kids in there, I'm going in.
Okay.
And they would let dispatch know that.
Wouldn't wait for backup?
I personally wouldn't if there's kids involved.
Okay.
But there are detectives that would. I mean, look at the school shootings you have around the nation. And you have fucking even cops that are just standing on the perimeter. I hate to be the judge, because I wasn't there. I just know how I would react.
Right.
When you have an active situation and there's kids involved, or anybody that's depending on you.
Right.
I don't like waiting.
Don't want to lose any more lives in this situation.
Yeah. You're supposed to respond and be the quickest to end the threat, whatever that means.
All right, so our detective goes in based on that information, wants to get the kids out of there. Okay, so all right, well, I'll walk you through this. Okay. Detective goes in, there's an upstairs, can see that there's nothing going on downstairs. Detective goes upstairs, right? This sounds good to you?
Yeah, but they would be making an announcement in real life.
Like, they would say, like, is anyone here? Or what would they say?
This is a police department. Anybody in here? Because it's not going to be a secret. If there is somebody in there, they're going to hear you walking around. They're going to hear the radio. So you don't need to be stealth or incognito at that point. You say that stuff to give the person, one, an opportunity to surrender. Two, you give that person, maybe they just had a problem with Joe Blow, and they don't have a problem with police officers. Now they hear police is in their house. They may put down the gun and everything else like that. Three, if the kids are hiding somewhere, maybe downstairs in a closet, something else like that, that gives them the opportunity to come out.
Okay, so our detective says something like that, makes their presence known. There's nothing going on downstairs, no response from anywhere, so she goes upstairs. Okay. Right? Sees maybe a trail of blood. There's a door right here. Goes in there and finds a dead body. Right. Also finds the kids in there alive. Okay. So what would she do at that point?
Get the kids out of the house.
Personally, or send them out on their own to further figure out what else is going on?
She would get them out of the house and stand by at the door. And if that's all the people that are in the house asking the kid, then she would stand by at the door and wait for more cover. Because now the potential of anybody else getting hurt is done, and they can slow everything down a little bit.
Well, let's say that there is also another potential threat. I mean, I like, how can we, like... So one person's dead. Let's say that, like, maybe the wife is still alive.
Okay. So then you would...
They're like, Mommy,
you would escort the kids out to the door. You get the kids out of the danger. Maybe, if by now, hopefully other cops have shown up. If not, you send them to the neighbor's house.
Okay, check it out. Okay. That's good.
And then you go back.
I like this. Okay, so she's upstairs. She's got the kids. Other cops have shown up. For movie purposes, she sends the kids downstairs out with the cops. The cops handle that. Yep. But she's gonna go ahead and go to like the door at the end of the hall where she knows that that's where our our crazed shooter is, and she goes in there to, I guess, defuse. Get the gun away from the guy and figure out what's going on.
Right. And she should probably be making more announcements at the top because you have to assume that maybe they didn't hear you at the bottom. So you're giving them that opportunity. You're always giving the opportunity, especially now, like with body cams and everything else like that. If you can give like the verbal warnings, or you give warnings and stuff like that,
cover your own ass, and also like
and give them the opportunity. If you don't have to kill somebody, it's best not to. Okay. But because it's a headache. Right. But so you make the announcements, and then if nothing, maybe you hear the girl crying in there, or something else like that. Okay. Then you start moving.
All right. Well, that's cool. That's good enough for now. Yeah. So we've just talked through what I wanted to talk through on that scene. I don't want to give anything away because this is a pivotal point in the movie. What happens at the end of this scene with what happens with the rest of the movie. Okay. So you got to read that script and let me know what you think. I
definitely will.
I had another guy read it, and he's the only one that's read it so far, and he liked it, and he was fooled by the twist of who is what by the end. But yeah, so like that's like, I would love to be able to make this movie next year. I don't know that I necessarily wrote it for the way we make movies. It might be a little bigger, but like I think it's a fantastic story. There's a lot more fucks in this. I say fuck a lot in this one for sure, compared to like Unto the Breach, where there's like maybe 5. This one's probably got like 100. Right. What's great is my so Final Draft, which is because like your son, he didn't want Final Draft. He just wanted to do his duct tape version of it. Yeah. But Final Draft, they'll give you a swear count, they'll give you a line count and a scene count, and they break everything down for you. Oh wow! Which I know your son doesn't get if he's just using like a word.
Yeah.
Macro.
And I talked to him about it, and he's like, Dad, I have my own setup. And you know, we might argue because, you know, every artist, everybody has their own thing.
But like, this is fun because I can be like, oh, they say fuck 150 times in this movie. Or I can break it down and be like, oh, this character has 250 lines. That's who the lead is. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like, I love having that.
Right.
But that's what's great about, like, Final Draft.
That's cool, though.
But yeah, no, so if I wanted to, I can go see how many times they say fuck in my movie. But I know, like fuck is the real human thing I feel that people say. That's why I put fuck in there, because, like, if I was in that situation and I would yell at somebody, or I would yell out into the air, or I would yell to myself, like, fuck, or fuck you, or motherfucker.
Yeah.
So it's not, you know, and the way I direct movies is like, if you don't really want to say that, you don't have to. Or if there's not a fuck there and you feel like someone would say fuck here, then I'm like, yeah, go for it. Like, when Adrian dies in Midnight Bloodshed, when he gets his leg chopped off and he's crawling, he's like, I feel like I would be saying, like I would be yelling fuck out right now. I'm like, yeah, go for it. Like, you know, I'm very open and fluid to interpretation on what you think the character would be doing in this situation. Like, I don't always write the thing that someone would say or do.
Right.
And I leave my lines open to you as the actor to create that character beyond just me. Otherwise, it would just, everyone's basically saying what I say.
Right.
You know, so yeah, so that's why fuck ends up so much. But yeah, that's the script I would love to make. But Patrick don't talk to me no more. And trying to get a hold of him is impossible. To be like, hey man, let's talk, right? Let's catch up or whatever.
Or have you let him know you have a new project? Because that might be the opening door. I have a new project with your character in mind.
The number that I have for him, in addition to Facebook Messenger and various other messengers, like, I've reached out. But you can see when someone sees a message and he's never looked and he's never responded to a phone number. So I asked Greg to try and get a hold of him and talk to him and say, like, hey, Matt wants to talk to you. So, like, you know, it's still only 2023, right? This is like a 2024 script, if anything. So it's still early, and I still plan on trying to talk to him about this. But otherwise, like, the script is dead in the water, but I still enjoyed writing it, and I got the story out that I wanted to tell.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is re-editing Street Meets Pavement. I was like, man, you know, like what I told Greg, like, wouldn't it be awesome if we can go back in time, give our younger selves the equipment we have now, and tell them, you know, now make this movie. So I'm thinking maybe remaking that next year with all new actors playing those parts.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Because, like, it's a simple script. We had a blast making it, you know, 10 years ago, right? It's the 10-year anniversary of that movie. So that would, and like, seeing what we made and adjusting to get even better shots from what we did and knowing ahead of time how it's going to go. Like, we could streamline that movie and make it, like, you know, twice as good as it was back then.
Yeah, and you can watch the original and be like, oh, this didn't work, or this worked, or this would be better if we did this way.
Right. Just watching it and be like, man, if only we knew that we could have done that.
Yeah.
Because now we can do that.
Yeah.
And, you know, it almost serves as its own proof of concept and storyboards already.
It'd be kind of cool to use comparing the two.
Absolutely. So, like, that's another idea I have for next year's movie. So there's potential for next year.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it'll be fun. You'll have to give me that Street Tough script.
Street Meets Pavement.
Oh, Street Meets Pavement. I don't think I've seen that one.
And we're re-editing it right now.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking when I edited that the first time, because, like, there's shit in that footage. I'm like, why didn't I do this? So I'm a much better storyteller. Editing wise as well than I was back then. So there's going to be a new version of that movie this year as well. So that's coming soon.
Yeah.
We got shit going on.
Yeah, you have to let me know when that comes out. Well, I stay on top of all your stuff though too. So even though I'm not good at responding shit.
Read that script, you son of a bitch.
I will.
You're going to be the captain in that. Captain McCann.
That's Captain Scooby.
No, I don't know about that. Never, ever. We're still recording.
All right.
All right, so let's go back to G.I. Joes.
All right.
So, I found out that you like G.I. Joes.
Yeah.
And we talked about it a little bit, but not quite. We didn't do it on a podcast, did we?
Mm-mm.
So,
No.
so yeah, I was taking pictures, and you were like, "Oh, hey, I like G.I. Joe." So you played a G.I. Joe in Not in the Dark.
Yeah, I did.
Your character in Not in the Dark, although wasn't Snake Eyes, the design and the look of your character was based on the version of Snake Eyes that I loved as a kid back in like 1991.
Mm-hmm.
With like the metal mouth face covering and the goggles and the blue design. You were wearing black, but
Yeah.
I loved that design when I was a kid watching the cartoon. So like I have a heavy influence of G.I. Joe. I got the tattoo.
Yes.
The
Which I recognize. Yeah.
Kenny gave me this tattoo actually.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
So
how long ago was that?
Like January 2015.
So for the reds, lots of those fade. That is still bright as hell.
It's not bad. It could definitely use some touch-ups.
Yeah, but still, I mean, still looking from back here, it's maintained that color very well. Yeah.
And I wear a watch on it all day, every day. So tell me about your G.I. Joe situation. Why do you like G.I. Joes?
Fuck, I loved them since I was a little kid.
And we're talking the 3 3/4 inch versions that came out in the mid 80s.
Yes.
Through to the mid 90s.
Yeah. I just I don't know. It was one of those things.
How old were you in like 1985? If you don't mind saying on mic. 8 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was 0 in 1985.
Yeah, I was born in 77, so 8 years old.
You're not that much older than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's perfect age. I wish I was 8 in 85.
Yeah.
Like you get that shit new and packaged, you're a millionaire today.
Yeah, I know, but I used to love it because I got allowance, and I think it was like maybe $4 a week.
Here, let's go crazy with this. So where were you living in 85?
In California.
Okay. And now were there cool toy stores when you were 8?
Toys R Us.
Toys R Us.
Toys R
Strictly
Us was
Toys R
the
Us.
shit. Because they had so many toys back then. I mean, it was a big deal. You used to love going there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I remember being a kid, and you get the Toys R Us catalog in the mail, or there was one other, like, I don't know if it was like JCPenney or something.
Probably JCPenney or Sears.
It was like a big, like, thick catalog, and you go to the toy section, you circle everything you want for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
I remember those days, like, But, so would always go to Toys R Us, and I think back then the G.I. Joes were like $2.50.
Probably.
And I would get like $3 or $4 a week for allowance. Mm-hmm. So
that's pretty good.
I would every single week buy a different G.I. Joe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like this book just has prices
of them now.
Of them now when this was
but I used to save all the file cards.
Yep.
And I used to play G.I. Joes all the time when I was younger, and I always used to play it like a movie. Mm-hmm. So if I watched fucking Predator,
right,
I'd make a G.I. Joe a character from Predator and have that and reenact the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yep. And I remember my Predator was this old Marvel Venom figure. That really couldn't move. I mean, the arms were straight and stuff.
Like 2 points of articulation.
Yeah. So he was my Predator character because they didn't have cool Predator toys.
No, not at all.
Like they do now.
Those came later, yeah.
And so, but he had the 2 white Venom eyes.
Yep.
Those were his lasers for me. And then I grabbed claws from the Wolverine figure and put it on him. Okay. And that was his claw. The Predator's claw. But yeah. I remember just...
So that's why I'm where I am now. Yeah. Like, I'm just doing with humans, people, what I did with the figures back when I was a kid.
And I'd play it for hours in my room. Perfectly content being by myself and doing my own shit. To a point, like, if it was, like, dinner time or something, too, I would just leave everything set up, go eat dinner, and then come back to it.
That's why I think I eat so fast today, is because it was, as a kid, it was like, I want to eat so that I can go back to doing what I was doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Playing video games or toys or hanging out with friends outside or whatever. Yeah. It's just like, let me eat and get through this, which is bad. It's bad.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, so that being outside the whole time, playing cops and robbers.
In California.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we would stay out until dark
that
time.
You became a cop.
Yeah.
Well, once the street lights come on, you go back in.
That's when it's dinner time.
For us, it was like, it was that, and it was also like, you can play bump to bump. We had speed bumps, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, don't go beyond the bumps, just play within bump to bump. So we were as a kid.
Yeah. And we had the whole street had these giant walnut trees that would drop walnuts all over the place.
Okay.
So there's walnuts everywhere covering the street. And we would have walnut wars.
Chuck them at each other?
Chuck them at each other. One team would be on one side of the street, the other team on the other side, and you just chuck them at each other.
Any broken windows?
No.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
No broken windows. A lot of people, little cuts here and there, but, I mean, that's the stuff you did when you're...
Absolutely.
Playgrounds back then, were, metal and sharp and stuff, not like... It is now with fucking pillows and cushions and everything. Soft bark.
Now you said you don't have your Joes anymore?
I don't. No. When as I started to get older and stuff like that, I gave half to my youngest brother. Mm-hmm. And I had hundreds.
You had them all, I'm assuming.
Yes. I had so many. But it got to a point where I was playing with them so often that I got bored with how the characters looked and stuff. So I'd use what I called the G.I. Joe screwdriver.
Yeah.
And undo each person and mix parts and made my favorite people. Mm-hmm. So I gave my youngest brother half of them and another half I was keeping for my kids. Mm-hmm. When I got older, I was like, oh, my kids would like it. So gave it to my kids when I got older. My oldest played with them for a little bit. And then he gave them all to my youngest, who played with them a lot. But they just got destroyed. And
so they don't exist anymore.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably some put together ones spread throughout one of their rooms. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, there's not much left.
I don't know anything about your family. How many siblings do you have?
So I have 2 younger brothers and a younger sister.
Okay, so you're the oldest.
I'm the oldest.
Okay.
Yeah, big Italian.
How old's the youngest?
He's 6 years younger than me. 6 years younger,
and I'm
39.
5. You said 77, so yeah. I'm 8 years younger than you.
Yeah.
So all of your siblings were born by the time I was born.
Yeah. So and yeah, it was.
Do you still have? Are your parents still with us?
Parents, I think.
Oh, you don't talk to your parents?
No, I had a big falling out with them with all my family about 14 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't really talked to anybody in the last 14 years in my family except for my youngest brother.
No one's tried to reach out to you. You don't have to go into the.
No, my youngest brother did. My youngest brother did. A couple years ago, he reached out to me. He's a cop in Ely. Mm-hmm. And he reached out to me and apologized, and I gave him opportunity to patch things up, and we have a great relationship. Me and my youngest brother now, we talk every other day or so. But everybody else in my family, I mean, I had somebody come up to me and be like, I heard your dad died. Are you okay? I'm like, he did? Mm-hmm. I don't even know. Mm-hmm. So
did that turn out to be true or not?
No, turned out not to be true. Mm-hmm. But, then it made me think, would I even go to their funeral if they pass away?
No, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's weird to say that, but no, absolutely. Yeah. I'm kind of there as well with my parents.
And, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah. You just have to make choices that's best for you. I couldn't deal with the negativity or toxicity anymore. Mm-hmm. And there were some substance abuses that were going on, and I just didn't want my kids around that.
Right.
My kids were more important.
How are they doing?
They're doing great. Mason, he's 20 years old. He's working at Rayleigh's. He just put in a 2-week notice. He started his own business, a power washing company. So if anybody needs power washing, for the people power washing,
reach out to Paul.
Yeah. He is just such a good...
Now, when you say power washing, is that house paint?
He'll do houses, driveways, yards, cars. He'll do car detailing, trash cans, businesses, windows, everything.
Okay.
But yeah, he's just such a good kid. Has such a good heart.
Well, if he wants to invest in making a movie, he can come on as a producer.
I think once he gets his business going, it's funny because his girlfriend's moving out of state, and she invited him to come, and he's so
What
responsible.
state?
California. She's moving to L.A. He's so responsible. He's like, no. He's like, I gotta focus on my business
He's got
out
shit
here.
going on here. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
You know, he's just, so I'm really proud of him. He's a really, really good kid. He's been working out with me for like the last year. He's gaining phenomenal shape. He's like 6'3". So,
Oh, fuck.
I mean, he puts on
You're
more
a short
muscle.
guy.
I know. He puts on muscle. He's going to be towering over me. So he's doing really good. And then my youngest is a film kid. He's been into that since he was 8.
Is he still in school?
Yeah, he's finishing up. This is his senior year.
So
he's finishing up in
this year.
June. He's applied for several of the film colleges, but they're so expensive. And they say that I make too much that he doesn't qualify for financial aid, even though I'm divorced and I really don't make that much. Yeah. So, and then he started researching. He's like, hey, Dad, you know, even if I go to film college, everybody wants experience. What experience do you have? So I reached out.
Dude, like, are these film schools asking for experience? Experience
No.
in what? So what are you...
No, film schools are not asking for experience, but the research he's done, when you're done with a film school, to get a job with a production company, anything else like that.
Well, from what I understand, is that by going to film school, it will open up opportunities to get you onto, like, a set getting someone coffee or something.
Yeah.
Which sucks, because you're going to film school to learn how to make a movie.
Right.
But, like, the best they can do is, like, you can be a PA somewhere getting someone's coffee and lunch.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you know, there are a lot of success stories that say that's where they started. I was so-and-so's assistant, and now I'm directing a movie.
So that's... He's like, Dad, I can't afford that, and I would still need experience. So I reached out to one of my buddies who's a professional actor.
Sam Jones.
Yeah.
The only name you drop around here is Sam Jones.
Such a good guy. Such a good guy. But I reached out to him, and he's like, have your kids send a resume to me, and I'll reach out to some people. So he sent the resume. He kind of helped look at it, and he's like, I'm going to send this to some people, and we'll see we can get him an internship with a production company. Is he willing to relocate? And Jason's like, I'll move wherever, just to get my foot in the door. So
he can go with your other son's girlfriend to LA.
Yeah, no shit. No shit. Yeah. So
that would make for awkward Thanksgivings.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
I like to stir the pot when I can.
Oh, God, yeah. Yes, you do. No, so, you know, they're both doing really well. I'm really proud of both of them. They're way more driven than I ever was at that age.
I mean, you didn't do so bad.
I mean, I didn't, but I was a fuck-up once I graduated high school.
I mean, look, I feel like people need to make mistakes so that they can learn from them. Otherwise, you're not learning a goddamn thing.
Yeah. I just learned to be an asshole, that's all.
You've always seemed great to me.
I appreciate it. I treat everybody with respect until given a reason not to. But...
that's how I am, too. Like you know, if you cross me, then you're out. Mm-hmm. You're Dunsky.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm really proud of them. And now that I'm retired, I'm taking time to do things that I want to do. So, you know, I'm learning how to play the guitar. I'm taking some singing lessons. I'm learning how to dance. I'm trying to...
Twinkle toes over here.
I know. I'm trying to... I've been doing a lot of traveling. I'm building a motorcycle. I'm like a YouTube mechanic.
Separate from the motorcycle that's in the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not working on that motorcycle?
No.
Okay.
I'm actually going to sell that one.
Okay.
So, if you know anybody that wants one, let me know. And then, yeah. So,
well, anyone out there, Paul's getting rid of a motorcycle.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe Corey will take it.
Corey liked riding it.
I mean, like, you know, it's nice to have when we need a motorcycle in a movie.
Yeah. It gets 50 miles to the gallon, so. My truck gets 10.
The truck that you pulled up in today.
Yes. It gets 10 fucking miles to the gallon. Spending a shit ton of money on that. But.
All right, while we're here, since I forgot, and I haven't brought it up since, like, are we going to issue an official challenge to Damon for you and him to fight?
Yeah,
you hear this, motherfucker? You piece of shit, Damon. You little bitch.
Oh.
Fucking step up, son. Paul's going to kick your ass. And if you don't respond, then everyone knows what a little bitch and pussy you are.
Wow.
No.
So Matt's like the Don King.
The hype man, yeah. Only in America.
Yeah, you know me. I'll fight whoever.
So I first heard about this last week.
I didn't hear about this.
You were involved in the story. Like, they said that when we were at the after party, after the premiere, that it was brought up about you and him, like, having a match together, like an MMA type match. And they said you guys were both down to do it.
Oh, I don't know.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, well, I mean, it was the first time I'd heard about it. But they said that, yeah, like Corey and Greg and Mikey said that you guys were talking about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, well then, fuck. I don't know that. I think Damon might have been just as easily aloof as you were.
Yeah, I have no idea. But
it's funny because so if you were to fight Damon in an MMA fight, right, just two buddies, right, nothing serious, like, you would be up for that? I can tell you right now that Damon's not. I already talked to him about it.
Damon's a good guy. I like Damon.
He said that you would win, so he wouldn't want to bother.
And he would win, so I wouldn't want to bother.
Yeah, okay. He says that you would have more experience. What's your fighting background? Like, training
I grew up
cop,
boxing.
Right?
I grew up boxing since I was like 13, because my dad was a boxer. So,
okay,
I love boxing. So striking, I'm really, really good at. Then when I got into law enforcement, you can't just go around punching people. So it was
says who?
Says supposedly the news. Apparently it's frowned upon.
I thought that was the whole reason to become a cop.
That's what I thought too. I got sorely
perks.
disappointed. It was just a lot of fucking paperwork. So then when I got a job with law enforcement, it was a lot of control holds and stuff, which in reality only work when you're doing it in a training environment, because a person's just standing there letting you do it.
Right.
In real life, that doesn't work.
Well, it's
you
like,
resort
here, come
back
at
to
me
what
with
you
this
used to.
knife.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you're not doing it right.
Yeah. No, come at me slower. All right, now tell me which hand you're going to use. You know, so it's there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't work. And then we have a couple of guys at our work that are really, really, really good MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys.
Martial artists.
Really, really good. And since majority of the fights end up on the ground, then I started doing some training with that, which I don't think I was great. I just
gotta go.
No, that's meal number 6. But yeah, it was. So I learned a lot from that. But I also learned that I'm a germaphobe, and since I'm a bigger guy...
So what, you don't want to get all fucking sweaty with some dude?
Yes. So I was a bigger guy, and another guy got, like, top mount on me or something. You know, and I'm, like, 230-ish around there. And I'd be going against, like, the 300-pound guys and stuff like that, because I was bigger and stronger.
Right. So you'd have to go up.
Yeah, so they would be on top mount or whatever, and I'd be on bottom mount at one of the competition stuff, and... They're sweating because they're bigger guys, and their sweat's dripping on my face, and their shirt's all sweaty, and they're trying to do a move, and it's rubbing up the side of your cheek, and I started freaking out. So then I kind of stopped doing that. But yeah, I mean, majority of my experience is boxing, and just street fighting, because that's kind of what we did. In California, a lot of stuff you just a lot of street fights,
right?
And then with work, you know, a lot of fights, but it's not like a fight to where you're like punching.
So if some dude gets kind of aggressive with you as a cop, like jerk his arm around his back.
Oh yeah, I'd never let anybody fucking touch me. So if somebody gets up in my face, it just depends on the situation. But I have no problem taking people down to the ground. I just don't fuck around like that. You'll hear other cops be let them back up and like, stop coming closer, and they keep coming closer.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you come closer, I'm gonna drop you, and they keep coming closer and they don't do shit. I'm not that person.
Mm-hmm.
If I say something, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
So, if I say, if you come close at me, I'm gonna put my hands on you, and they do it anyways, that was my warning.
All right, so like next time you see Damon, right, you're gonna say those things. Don't come closer to me.
Damon, stay there. Don't come closer to me. Damon is taller.
He's 6'2".
Yeah, he's taller.
At least.
And he's lankier.
Yeah, he's got a reach on you.
Yeah. So if I was to actually fight Damon, I would try to get on the inside. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to be striking, I would get on the inside. It'd be easier to work his body. Mm-hmm. Just because he's taller.
And he only just started doing cardio. He wasn't a cardio guy until recently.
Yeah, he's in good shape though. Damon, he's strong. He's in good shape. But yeah, so that's how I'd handle it.
Both of you right now are like you're weight training, right? For shows.
Oh yeah.
Like Damon's trying to do shows, and you're going to do a show.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah, but just because you do shows doesn't mean you can fight.
But...
Yeah.
I know, but like it would be like muscle versus muscle essentially, right?
It would because of that
you can take.
Because he works out and I work out, that basically the working out is obsolete. So then
they cancel each other out.
They cancel each other out. So it'd basically go on whatever experience you have.
Right. And Damon thinks you've got more experience. Obviously you're older than he is.
I probably have way more actual fighting experience, just because I fought all the fucking time.
Right.
So, and I'm not sure what his experience is.
I mean, he's a Marine, so whatever military training they gave him as far as hand-to-hand combat goes. Yeah,
and I'm sure against
but he only
average
did, I
person,
think, like 2 years.
Still, that's more than the average person.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think he'd be able to take out majority of people.
Don't say that. If he ever listens to this, give him a big head.
Yeah. I think he could, because there's a lot of people that, for one, are a lot of betas. There's a lot of betas out here nowadays.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of people that will talk shit, but when they're confronted, they all back down.
They crumble.
Yeah, and I don't think that he's that type of person. I think he'd be a good fighter. He just needs experience and training more. But,
all right, so that's challenge issued. The hats, the gauntlet's been thrown down, Damon. Are you gonna pick it up, or are you gonna fucking puss out?
Damon, just tell Matt, don't come closer. Or else.
Don't fucking come closer,
don't
man.
Come closer.
I will drop you.
No, but he's a good kid. There's this project. He had a lot of good people that worked on this project.
Well, look, I mean, if it wasn't for Damon, Midnight Bloodshed wouldn't have gotten made, right?
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to make a Jason movie, and I saw this dude at work that I worked with who was Damon, and it was like, he could be Jason. If I didn't have a Jason, I wouldn't have bothered even trying, right? You need someone to play that part that's big and intimidating, and Damon's that. I know Corey likes to say, like, this guy is the reason why I don't watch movies like this, is because he's big and he's scary and he's intimidating.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think
there's the one scene when he pushes Jessie down in the chair and he puts the axe in her head. Right, you see in the shot of her where he like kind of steps up on her and brings the axe up. You see her kind of flinch. Right?
Yeah,
and it's like, we're only making a movie. Before we yelled action, we're all laughing and joking and figuring out. But even in that moment, that very fake moment, like, you could tell it was real to her.
Yeah,
for that split second.
100%. Yeah.
So like. He's got the intimidation. He's got the size and intimidation on his side,
absolutely.
And that's why we made that movie.
Yeah, he did a good job with it.
There were. You're right. There were a lot of good people, and I am very thankful for everyone that I got to come in and help out.
Yeah.
No matter what the situation was, like I'm very happy and I'm glad and proud of everyone and all the work they put in, and that brings me to this point. Let me check real quick. Oh no, it's not recording again. We're nearing the end, but like, I submitted the movie. And I think this is cool. I submitted the movie. Are we good?
Yeah. Saw somebody checking out my truck, so.
Well, just the people walking the dog.
Yeah.
It's okay. We'll get you out of here so you can get your 6th meal. I submitted the movie to Kevin Smith's film festival. I know I submitted all the other ones last year, and none of them got any kind of attention. But I submitted it to this year's Smodcastle Film Festival in Jersey. You know, your old neck of the woods, kind of over the bridge.
Just pumping right now.
But the festival is happening October 12th through the 17th, right? And October 13th is a Friday, so Friday the 13th.
Oh, that's cool.
It seems kind of, you know, I don't want to get my hopes up.
Yeah.
Like, more likely than not. Like, I get more not selected rejection letters than anything else. But maybe it's a cool little sign that, you know, a film festival is happening on Friday the 13th, and we made a Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So maybe we might get lucky, and maybe we can plan a trip out there if we get selected. You know, I was telling Corey this. He's like, that'd be a pretty awesome, like, you know, bro trip. If, like, you know, me, Corey, you, Greg, Damon, you know, we all head out to Jersey for like a weekend.
It's dirty as fuck, but yeah, it'd still be fun.
You know, Corey's like, man, that would be, you know, that's one of those that's one to remember.
Oh yeah.
You know? Or we'd come back not remembering a goddamn thing. Yeah. He said that would be a wild bro trip.
You'd have to control the drinking out there. Yeah, that would be fun.
So
that's one of the things I do like about your movie producing and your writing and stuff like that, because I think in order to be successful in this business, as well as majority of businesses, you have to not be discouraged when you get a no or a rejection and keep going.
The only thing that sucks about getting the no is like when you're spending like $75 just to get a no.
Yeah,
like that's what sucks. Like I hit all the free ones, which is fine, but like when it's like, this looks like cool, this looks like fun, I'll spend the $75.
But all it takes is one.
All it takes is one. I mean, and we've already gotten a couple of awards. It's won Best Poster twice. It's won Best Feature twice. Best Director. Yeah. Best Editing, which is always cool because like we work our asses off to make sure that shit is edited fucking tight. And then Best Special Effects. So, and we've got like another 20 plus that we're still waiting on, and potentially more as they pop up. I'll see them and I'll be like, okay, I'll drop the 20 or whatever.
Have you ever thought about making a new movie poster with like all the awards on it?
Well,
once it's done.
Did you ever get a copy of Not in the Dark?
Yes.
You got a copy of that? So the cover for Not in the Dark has the laurels that it won.
Yes.
The only problem with Midnight Bloodshed is I wanted to get those made up, and we haven't had like Not in the Dark was like 2 years I think later. But Midnight Bloodshed was right away. So I haven't had time for those festivals to kind of pop up, so I didn't have any laurels to put on there.
But even 2 years from now, you know, it'd be cool to get an updated poster with all those
laurels
around it, and that's great for you too.
So yeah, no, I mean, eventually one day maybe.
Yeah.
But like it sucks being like we're still in this Midnight Bloodshed world when I'm looking to do the next one, and it's hard to look back, right? Being one person, you know, I don't have a post-production team to keep up on that. I don't have a media team to keep up on posts on social media. It's just me, right? And it's like, well, we made that. Right now it's fine because I'm not in the middle of another movie, right? I'm just playing around with other concepts, and so I can still very much make DVDs for this movie, keep up on festival submissions and such, to where I can do that. But like if we're in the middle, like I've barely looked back at all the other ones until this year. Right. Have I truly started looking back at all the other movies, other than like popping them on every now and then, to kind of just like, oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah.
But it does get really tough to be like, especially when you spend like a year, like half a year making it, half a year editing it, and being like, I am done with this fucking movie.
Yeah.
You know, you guys, like, you filmed like what, half a dozen times?
Right, not, but you like keep it going afterwards.
Well, you were on set, like, I don't have the thing here, but I have written down, I tallied up how many times, you know, you were probably like, what, 5 days? Maybe more. Like, you had a lead role, so you were probably more. You were probably like 10 days, 15 days, but like I was 28 days, and then some. Right. You know, Greg was...
And then when you're done with the movie, you still have to do all the editing and submissions.
Oh, yeah. No, like Greg put in like 5 hours a day to color it, and then I put in like 5 hours a day to edit it, and then we'd get together and put in another 5 to 8 hours editing it together. So, like, you know, we put in a lot of hours So when fucking people bitch about not getting fucking paid, don't forget that, like, I'm not getting paid. Greg's not getting paid. We did not get a paycheck. And on top of that, we are not selling anything. I'm still... Hold on.
Waiting for my check.
I'm on a fucking pedestal here.
I'm still waiting for my check.
I'm on a soapbox, right? Like, I spent all of my, I got, my tax return to put into this movie. And any money that came my way from fucking the slave labor that I do down at the warehouse. All that went, this isn't, directed toward you, but anybody who feels the need to be like, oh, if you make any money on this, it all goes to you. We don't get any of it. Like, I can't sell this movie because I don't own Jason or Friday the 13th. This was a fan film. This was a passion project, and I appreciate the people that came on and helped, but, like, I'm not making any money. I put all the money in to make these fucking DVDs to give everyone, right? Like, I didn't have to do that.
I did it for fun and to work with you.
But was that too harsh? Should I cut that out of this podcast? Like, I feel like I got angry there real quick about something that maybe I shouldn't have. Like, it's just not that anyone.
I mean, I understand that you didn't have enough money to pay everybody because after you gave me that check for $10,000 for doing my part, there wasn't enough for everybody else. So you're like, just how shit it was.
Well, look, the second that I heard you expected to get paid, of course, I fucking stepped up and made sure that you got paid.
Oh yeah. I appreciate it too, and.
I feel like we have stepped way out of line off the top. I'm glad this is the end of the episode. No one's going to make it past the first 5 minutes, especially after I say that, like, oh, this is... we spent an hour talking and it got fucking gone.
It did.
Maybe I'll get lucky and maybe it just shut off or something, because I could have sworn that I hit record on that. We are still recording. All right. I could have sworn I fucking hit record, but when I hit play, that sounded like...
Yeah, who knows?
The line
you may have an extra long podcast. You may have 2.
Well, stick around... Because if there is, like, 15 minutes of something before it shut off on its own or something, like maybe it bumped or something, then I will tack that on to the end of this.
There you go.
So with that, Paul, thanks again.
Thank you.
And that's Sequel Podcast for this week. I'm at Bonta.
Paul Sifre.
Peace out, Reno.